pleasure to moderate this panel, but also an honor to be listening to the views of the co-panelists. People who are really industry stalwarts in education domain. So before I get into the details, let me first take a moment to introduce them first. So let me start with inviting Antapreet Singh, Director Digital Learning, Indian School of Business, into the panel. Antapreet is a techno business leader for 35 years of experience, mainly with global technology companies. He has held various global positions in his long career with Fujitsu, Telabs, Lucent AT&T, and later Alcatel-Lucent. He was one of the first chief learning officers of Jio University. Antapreet currently is associated with Indian School of Business. All of us know it's a world-class B school. He's also a well-known thought leader, faculty and researcher in the field of learning, digital transformation, digital HR, and future skills. So welcome, Antapreet, on the stage. It's a pleasure to have you. Let me move on and introduce the next panelist, Mr. R.K. Verma, Founding Managing Director, Resonance Edu Ventures. I don't think any of us need introduction to what Resonance does. Chasing excellence persistently has brought many resonance. It has been instrumental in delivering excellent results for past 19 years now since its incorporation. Mr. Verma believes that his institute will keep doing the same in the future, and in a much more similar way. While he's setting up his business, which is really taking leaps and bounds, he's a teacher at heart, a motivator, and a dedicated academician. He continues to take 3-4 lectures per day, even today, to live his dream of shaping the young minds. So welcome, Mr. R.K. Verma. It's a pleasure to have you on the panel again.
Thank you.
Next, moving on, I will introduce Mr. Rashmi Ranjan, CEO and Trustee, Surya Veena Adarsh Niketan, and trust and founder, and he's also the founder of Udan. Mr. Rashmi Ranjan is a well-known motivational and keynote speaker, author, innovative thinker, and a successful management consultant with 15 years of diverse industry experience. He has trained and counseled more than 40,000 people in last 10 years in both India and US. Clients in the field of IT, ITS, project management, education, manufacturing, and many, many more, to just name a few. Ranjan has been equally accepted by the participants from education and corporate government sector because of his personality, communication, and quick adaptability to the industry challenges. So I think a complete introduction of the panel. As I said, just checking base before we get into our detailed discussion. The topic is the new models of e-learning and digitization. I think had we been talking around 6 months back, 40 minutes is good enough to discuss that. But the kind of changes that the world has seen in the last 6 months, I think every day there's a new model which is arising. So we will try our best as a 4 panelists to see whatever we can give you as insights to what is happening across the digital world. But before that, we all know the world is changing. It's adopting the new norms of life and at a very, very fast pace. Education is more. Education actually is the core of it, right? So the mechanism of delivering education has turned on its head for 5-6 months. I think we all have seen it. We all have noticed it. We have been traversing through this unprecedented time, and so education and the educationists. So before I actually get into the details, I would like to thank all of you, the educationists, the people who are taking this transformation, and they are performing the way they are transforming, because it's not easy. It's for educationists, it doesn't come as a very native thing. It needs an effort to adopt the new technology and ensure that the learning of the student is not stopping. So thank you for that. The kind of models that you're adapting and the way you are getting into the details of it. We've been seeing a lot of models coming up. The trends that we have seen, almost in the last 4-5 months are, first is definitely the ability and resilience of the education system to respond to the change, right? Since we all have spent enough time in being in education, we all know the way the introduction of technology used a few years back, and with the with the injection of new technologies like AI, ML, cloud, big data, I think all of them are getting really adopted very fast and in a much more integral way than it used to be. In my experience, I've been around for 12 years working with educationists and education policy makers. Education used to be like IT used to be more like a cost center, and now which has now actually become and transformed into an investment center, because now you need technology to run even the delivery of education. So that's how the surge of change in education has changing. So which also means that there is a diminishing resistance of stakeholders to keep using the technology. all of us, live, audience of to that. We have seen in last 4 5 months how people have actually picked up new platforms, right? Whether it is all the platforms that are openly available today. A lot of companies like Microsoft have actually come up and opened their systems and told the education and the students to embrace. I think all of them have actually gone ahead and took that embracement in a much more cohesive way, and they are now using it. While these are the things that we are seeing now, I think there is a new trend that we are seeing which is going to come. The new trend that we believe, are basically around first when we reopen, right? I think it's inevitable that the schools will and college will get reopened. It can be a month, a 2 month, or a 6 month window. But whenever it happens, I think the first thing that is going to be the paramount to everyone, the teachers, students, parents of the teachers, child put together, will be the health and safety of the students. So I think the first trend that the person is going to really take a surge is actually using technology to ensure the health safety of the student. While physical safety and security is still key to a lot of these institutes, I think the health part of it will come into a play, and I think all the institutes will look at digital interference to ensure that the safety and the of the student and the teachers while they are on campus uh, is there. And we like to call it as safe reopen. That how safe is it to reopen the college when we get 40 minutes coming into the institute. The second, the one which is really picking up right now, and I think Dr. Amrita touched about it briefly in her discussion, was online assessments and remote proctoring. I think this is going to be the future, which means if the colleges, the schools doesn't open for a while now, we will hit a stage where the assessments are due, examinations are due. We need to have a credible way to ensure that these kind of deliveries of exams can happen in a much more integral way, or in the integrity is maintained while the students are given the freedom the way they give the exams while they are sitting in the institute. So that's the second trend picking up. I think all of us must be noticing it. That it's inevitable. While these are the things that we do help tell us that do we need to really embrace all of them? How easy or difficult it is to be? But trust me, the on campus, the physical experience of the student and the teacher is not going anywhere. It's just a matter of time. But whenever we open, whenever we are back in the campus, I think the model will continue to coexist, which means we call it hybrid model, or you want to call it, a cohesive model for the blended learning and the in-house and the campus learning. So we will continue to have. So this digital intervention will not go or drop in a way. It will continue to be there, but it will coexist. So the hard line between whether you need to be in the campus to study might fade a bit, while it will be important for students and teachers to be on the campus, but there will be an option, and the trend is already there in the West. I don't want to take it as an ideal example, but there are interventions that we are seeing where the hybrid model exists, and people are much more acceptable about it. People are much more embracing the change in a way that it is good for everyone, because the pandemic, while it will diminish and it will scale down, but as the expert says, and I'm not an expert on the health, but they say that it will continue to be there for a long time. So even if government is doing a lot and they are putting SOPs in place, they are doing enough to ensure that the physical safety and the health safety of the students and teachers and everyone for that matter is taken care of. I think the intervention of digital to ensure that the student of anytime, anywhere learning concept continues and coexist. So these are few things that we see, and maybe I think it's the right time where I invite Antapreet into the discussion to understand what he is seeing. He has been a veteran around, and in fact, he has seen the things changing when the internet was introduced, to the adoption of internet and the digital. The netizens is what Dr. Vivek called up at the start, and now he's seeing the world of digital natives. So, Antapreet, over to you, your views on what you are seeing, the changes happening.
Yeah, thanks, Vaibhav. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I am clearly audible. Okay, so as we talk of several models, and I mean, since the lockdown, you would have been every day hearing about lot of models, lot of new terminology. I would say a lot of jargonized kind of this thing. So let me start with a very, very simple model. You will know it, pizza model. We all love pizza. If you pick up a menu of any restaurant and when you go for a pizza, which pizza is the cheapest one? And that is at the top, Margherita pizza. and the only pizza which is less than 100 rupees, maybe 85, 90 rupees. But what do you have in margherita pizza? You have just the cheese, you have bread, that's it, nothing else. That is what pure online model is. Pure online model is margherita pizza. You have, you do not have any layers. And if we move down in the menu, we see that as we keep increasing the toppings, as we increase bringing in the layers. That is what blended model means. As we keep blending it with more layers, we put olives, we put capsicum, mushroom, a lot of things. The pizza becomes expensive, but it delights. It gives us wonderful experience. So in a similar way, when we talk of education, when we talk of digital, and people are very surprised when I say that pure digital models are not sustainable. They said, you would have been the last person to say that. You are a digital education specialist, and we are hearing this from you. So I have a very strong conviction that pure online model will not work, as pure offline models are now no longer, they are history. And I'm coming to that before Corona and during Corona and after Corona model of mine. So first thing which other speakers have also very clearly expressed is the blended model. And I think now you can relate blended model with a 350, 400 pizza, which has a lot of toppings and which is very delicious and you really relish it. Now, let me characterize the whole thing as before Corona, which is now a history. That time is not going to come back. And what brought us there will not take us, the future is going to be radically different during Corona and after Corona. Now, during Corona, I find there are two stages. And I have been hearing, I have been speaking, I have been on TV shows. I hear new term, new normal. This is not new normal. It's a transient phase. New normal, it is not normal. This is abnormal. This is new abnormal. So this is a transient phase. Whatever best in class practices we had in the before Corona stage, call it a BC stage, we have to bring it to a DC stage. Now DC stage, which is during Corona stage, further has two stages. Completely lockdown, we've come out of that. Completely locked down, we have no choice. I heard one speaker saying that what was the choice? So we had to have that margherita pizza model, pure digital model. Now we are moving to coexistence with virus, and I am very optimistic by March we will have end of it. And then we will move to after Corona model, which is reimagining the whole education. Now, in the before Corona model, I would, whenever I would meet, I would go to research conferences, meet vice chancellor. Everybody would be very digital savvy, but only lip service. 952 universities we have in India. We have more than 52,000 colleges, and we have million plus schools. Very, very small percentage of that complete population had adopted digital, which means digital adoption was very, very less. It was only a lip service. Now, during Corona stage, lockdown stage, or moving away from lockdown to a coexistence with virus stage, all those administrators, all those vice chancellors, directors, they want to take the plunge. So I tell them, you are making a second mistake. Do not now do another mistake. Take it in a graded manner. So what we are going to see in an after Corona stage is a blended model, but we have to carefully think through the education strategy. This is the time to think of it. This is not a new normal, this is an abnormal. We will settle into a new normal in an after Corona stage, maybe in a 6 to 8 months, max 1 year time from now. And we have to think of a model. And when we have to think of a model after Corona stage, I would say that one thing which is very important is design thinking. I mean, I say it very, very strongly and with conviction that our faculty needs to be trained on design thinking. They need to start with student experience in mind. Start with student experience. The whole thing is not about you, the faculty. The whole thing is not about people like me who are partly faculty, partly technologists. The whole thing is not about people who support the entire education ecosystem. The whole thing is about the student. If the student does not have, Dr. Vivek spoke about platforms moving from LMS to an ecosystems which give delightful experiences. We have to move to delightful student experiences. Now, tell me, I mean, would you want a student, let's say, I mean, higher education, which I deal with, would you want students to play Ludo on their mobiles, or would you want them to see them playing cricket in the playground and then come back to class and also leverage digital? That is the model we have to reimagine. We don't have to become robots, and we don't have to become slaves of digital technologies and algorithms. So when I talk of after this transient, we are now moving to transient phase, and hopefully September we should have campuses unlocked. But with a lot of precautions, we will start working. And that is the stage where we would have digital classrooms, because a lot of portion of the curriculum would be taught online. But we will also have physical classes, so digital classrooms and digital in classrooms. Now, what do you mean digital in classrooms? Digital in classrooms would mean you are leveraging technology. I mean, in ISB, we started blending HBR case studies, or I mean, the HBR case studies, as you see, these are at times 10, 12, 15, 20 pages. Now, you talk about digital immigrants. We all are digital natives, but digital immigrant, those who have been born after 1990 or 95 or year 2000, I mean, they can't read 20, 30 pages. So we started blending business case studies with online simulations. And that blend was like an exotic pizza, which students really loved. We have to think of, and this is all part of design thinking. I mean, you have to design your portfolio in a way that you have a blended recipe, and then there is no one recipe. I mean, people think that digital education or blended education is all about buying a platform, buying some licenses on Team or on Zoom, and then we are done. That is very small element. Think of your whole education portfolio, which is derived from the education strategy of yours, and that portfolio that includes your flexible curriculum paths, your cores, your electives, your innovative research projects, your experiential learning projects, your leadership life skill programs, entrepreneurial programs, all these things. And that's where we also move away from STEM to STEAM. We bring in that A, which is very, very important in that blended recipe. And the point I'm making here is that you have to craft your own recipe. There is no one recipe which can be given to all the educational institutions that take this recipe. And I mean, I say that even to two houses adjacent to each other, the yellow dal will not taste the same, because every household has their own recipe. In a similar way, every educational institution has to build their own recipe, and that recipe should have very strong flavor of the design thinking, because you have a strategy portfolio comes out of that strategy. You now have to do the design that portfolio, flexible learning paths, experiential, innovation, research, entrepreneurial initiatives. All those require design thinking, and while you are deploying design thinking, you are keeping student experience at the center stage. So I wish that we move away from jargons of new normal, of whatever, I mean, terms we are hearing. We move down to now thinking. By April, I will have a completely new word, which is after Corona word. I'm very, very optimistic. I mean, by December, we will start seeing the problem going away. By April, we will be all clean. The corporations will also start their businesses with clean slate from next financial year, and so would be the educational institutions, and so would be the students. And students will look forward to that Guru Shishya model, which is very, very important. That mentoring, coaching, one-on-one, seeing each other's body language, having eye-to-eye contact, that can't be done on digital. But then at the same point in time, we will continue to have some part 20-30% as a flipped classroom, as a digital, and also we are then helping students at far-flung areas. Maybe they might study in a mode which optimizes their cost. I mean, they don't have to come to costly cities and spend fortune to learn. They can. The digital will be digital. Doesn't know any regional or political or religious or international boundaries.
I
You
think
can.
totally agree with you, Antapreet. This is absolutely,
Yeah.
I love the simplification part of it. Sorry, I've spent all my life with
No,
companies
because I would get carried away and I will speak for a couple of hours on this. So fine. So let me stop here. My with the 3 points. Think of after Corona stage. Start thinking now. Think design thinking, student experience, and think of an exotic blended pizza.
Absolutely. And while the pizza actually, initiated some hunger within me because it's almost lunchtime, let me here bring in Mr. Verma. So I know Resonance and I have a personal connect because there is someone in my family who actually goes to Resonance. So,
Okay, okay.
I know the great work that you folks are doing. But I know, even the tech, the test prep center, the centers that we have, right, or the model that we have has actually taken a back right now with this new surge of the new world that we are seeing, and in Antapreet's word, the new abnormal that we are seeing, right, or the abnormal, if not the new abnormal. So, how does Resonance, coping up with that? What are the new things that you are adopting to ensure that the learning doesn't stop and the kids continue to learn?
Thank you, Vaibhav. And I thank the organizers for calling me in this conference. First of all, let me tell you that I am very much new to this EdTech family and these EdTech ventures and this EdTech way of teaching. So we have been traditionally taking classes in the traditional classrooms, and all the offline classrooms we have been conducting, we have been teaching the students in the traditional manner. And suddenly this corona event has made drastic changes, all 180-degree turn completely. So by when this was announced on I think 23rd or 22nd March that there will be lockdown from 25th onwards, we were all thinking that how we will teach our students, because we were not prepared for this thing. We did not have any exposure to edtech methods of teaching, though we had certain kind of association with these online teaching in the form of providing test series, etc., providing certain materials to the students who are not able to come to our classes. But we never thought that at some day we will have to completely shift to this kind of environment from the offline classroom.